This is Rio Ngumoha, Liverpool's new superstar. He's already being compared to the likes of Ngumoha and Desiree Doué. But the question is, can he live up to the hype? So today, I'm going to play his entire career and turn him into a Liverpool legend by winning the Ballon d'Or. And here is Liverpool star boy, 62 overall, 16 years old, and he is an exciting prospect. And just take a look at his pace and dribbling, man. This is incredible for a 16-year-old. However, if Rio ever wants to win the Ballon d'Or and become a Liverpool legend, he's gonna have to go ahead and complete 5 different challenges. However, there's already a huge problem. Rio is nowhere near the best winger in the side and will make it impossible to complete any challenges. So I think at the start of this career, we're gonna have to loan him out. And as we're waiting for loan offers from Ngumoha, Arne Slot has made a big move in bringing Rodrigo, a left winger, to the side. And Ngumoha is gonna really have to impress out alone if he ever wants to become a Liverpool legend. But anyways, Rio has left Liverpool on a 2-year loan, joining the biggest club in Scotland in Celtic, as his first challenge in his career is to become the best player out here on loan. And in order to do that, Rio has to become the highest rated at the club and also become the top goal scorer at the club for 1 season. And as Rio joins Celtic, he's actually the only left winger in the entire side, which means he'll start in and week out and grow his overall massively. However, with shooting stats like these, he will never become the top goal scorer in this first season. We might have to extend the loan for a 3rd season. But you know what? Let's believe in the young Liverpool lad and let's give him an inside forward and see how he does. And as we're going to the end of Rio's first ever season, after every challenge he completes, we will get to open one of these boxes that can have a reward or a punishment. And that reward could be making Rio a 99 overall, or it can force Rio to join United and he cannot leave until he wins them a trophy. And what a season Ngumoha has had: 10 goals, 7 assists, went up a +8 to a 70. Obviously nowhere near the highest rated and the top goal scorer. And it's even better as Ngumoha has won his first league title with Celtic, and he also wins the Scottish Cup. And of course Celtic got grouped in the Champions League. And this is important because not only do I want him to win a Ballon d'Or, I also want him to win 30 trophies, score 300 goals, and even try to win a World Cup. And in season number 2, things have become interesting as Celtic want to continue their dominance. They've also brought in Mikey Moore on loan, a left winger just like Rio. And it gets even worse as Mikey Moore is higher overall than Rio and could take a lot of game time. And as Ngumoha's loan ends this year, if he does not become the top goal scorer of the club and the highest overall, he will have to go out on loan once again. But the good news is his stats are looking so much better already, but we must continue on that inside forward grind. And Ngumoha has leveled up 15 goals this time around, now at a 75 overall. Again, nowhere near the top goal scoring charts and still not the highest rated in the side. So with his loan deal coming to an end, we might extend or go to another club out on loan. But regardless, he wins another league title and also wins his 2nd Scottish Cup. And Ngumoha has 15 goals and already has 4 trophies. But the question is, will he be at Celtic next season? And it turns out in season 3, Rio has re-signed with Celtic for 1 more year as a loan. And as we take a look at his stats, his shooting is exceptional. However, his penalties have gone up to an 80, which now means he is the penalty taker in the side. Surely that's how he gets top goal scorer. And if Ngumoha can get like 30 goals, he can easily grow to the highest overall player. So for one final time, we're gonna give him inside forward and eventually we'll work on his passing, dribbling, and pace. And as we get to Rio's final season here at Celtic, we desperately need to complete that challenge because we can get a huge reward. And yes, Ngumoha has done it, 25 goals, being the top goal scorer of the club, and is now an 81 overall, which does make him the highest overall player, meaning he's completed his first challenge. That means he'll be able to open his first box for a reward or punishment. But sadly, this time around, he fails to win the league title, but he adds his 5th trophy with the Scottish Cup. But the question is, will he be rewarded or punished for his achievements? And it's changed Rio's position, neither a punishment or reward, as Rio now has 40 goals in his career and 5 trophies. And in season 4, Ngumoha has returned to Liverpool, but we have made him a right winger because I want him to become the next Mo Salah. However, there's a huge problem. Arne Slot has brought in Bradley Barcola, and he'll be playing on the right wing here at Liverpool, and they still have Mo Salah. So sadly, I think it's time to transfer list Rio Ngumoha, but don't worry, our goal will be to get back here to Liverpool in a couple seasons time. Because if he ever wants to compete with the likes of Doué and Ngumoha to the Ballon d'Or, he needs to play week in and week out. And the first offer that's come in for Ngumoha is from Borussia Dortmund. This is the perfect offer. We're accepting it. And here we go. Rio Ngumoha is joining Borussia Dortmund. But like I mentioned, his goal is to get back to Liverpool. But his next next challenge for now is to win the Golden Boot in a top 5 league, and he is in the Bundesliga. And as Rio joins Borussia Dortmund, he is the best right winger in the side. However, winning the Golden Boot is not going to be easy because he competes with his own teammates in Karim Adeyemi, who's incredible now, and very underrated Darwin Nunez. But in terms of development plans, let's give him the winger role to increase his pace and his skill moves. However, this past year it was the Euros, but Rio wasn't selected as England did get out of the group stage, but they got knocked out in the semi-finals. Maybe one day Rio can take England to an international trophy. And it's now Rio's best season, 9 goals, 0 assists at an 84 overall. But look what I told you, Darwin Nunez scored 52 goals as he easily wins the Golden Boot. But sadly, no Bundesliga title for Rio, but they do win the DFB Pokal as Dortmund got knocked out in the quarters of the Europa League. As Rio now has 6 trophies and 49 goals, maybe shifting to right wing was very hard for him. And in season number 5, due to his poor output, Borussia Dortmund have brought in Fatawu to compete with Rio. So Rio really needs to step it up this season if he wants to win the Golden Boot. If not, he might have to go to another top 5 league club. But let's go ahead and get him on the wide playmaker plan this season. And it seems all he needed was competition, 14 goals and 4 assists at an 85 overall. He still has a lot of work to do to win the Golden Boot. But Rio wins his first top flight league title, but fails to win the Super Cup and loses in the final to DFB Pokal. He could have had 3 trophies this season. And in the Champions League, they got knocked out in the quarters to United again. And with 7 trophies and 63 goals to his name, surely next year he can win that Golden Boot and unlock his next challenge and hopefully a reward. And boys, it is World Cup year, but somehow Ngumoha did not get caught up, man. Let's see how England did. But sadly, they got knocked out in the semis. To be honest, I'm not surprised Rio didn't go with the likes of Saka and Palmer in the squad. But Ngumoha is now at an 86 overall. Surely soon he'll be good enough to go back to Liverpool. But first, he needs to go ahead and win this Golden Boot. Let's see if he can do it this season, as I'm going to give him an inside forward to try and get him to max finishing. And for the first time, Rio is the top goal scorer here at Dortmund with 32 goals, 4 assists. Now at an 87 overall, but did he do enough to win the Golden Boot? And yes, he has done it by 2 goals, beats Cole Palmer. So he achieves his 2nd goal. But the question is, will he be rewarded or punished for his achievements and join Man United? And he can't leave till he wins a trophy. This is a punishment, man. But there's even more bad news as he misses out on the Bundesliga. But he wins the German Super Cup and also adds the DFB Pokal. But in the Champions League, they got knocked out in the semis. But he's about to reach 100 goals with 95 and has 9 trophies to his name. Let's see what the next challenge is. So in season number 7, sadly, Rio is joining United and he cannot leave the club until he wins them a trophy. However, his next challenge is to impress Liverpool by winning 10 trophies. He already has 9, so all he has to do is win 1 trophy at United and he can get back to Liverpool. And as Ngumoha joins United, he's gonna have to play out of position in that right cam role. And as he is the 2nd highest rated in the team, I don't want him to stay here longer than 1 season. So he has to lock in and win them a trophy as we're going for the advanced playmaker role. And Rio has reached the Carabao Cup final. If he wins this trophy today, he completes his next challenge against Aston Villa, and it's a 3-1 loss. But Ngumoha gets another shot as he's in the FA Cup final versus Brighton. Come on, this has to be a victory, and it's a 2-0 loss. And unless we won the Premier League, we have to stay at United another season. But yes, Rio gets 1 last chance in the Europa League final. All Rio has to do is be Olympic Marseille, and he could be a Liverpool player next year and can get out of this stinky club. Come on, Rio, and it's a 2-0 victory as Ngumoha completes his next challenge. And what an incredible season, 55 goals and 11 assists, now at an 89 overall. Oh, Liverpool about to get the best player in the world. But Rio also took United to the Prem title. That's his 2nd trophy. But the question is Rio gonna get punished or rewarded? And it's give Rio Derba Plus. And as Rio gains Derba Plus, trust me, this is crucial because even his free kick ability has gone up from this all the way to this, which means he can now take penalties and free kicks at Liverpool, which we know will give him a bunch of goals every season. But now with 150 goals and 11 trophies to his name, it's time to get back to Liverpool. And finally, in season number 8, Ngumoha has returned to Liverpool. And look at Rio in the brand new Liverpool kit. If you want this in your career mode, click the link down in the description. As his next goal is to bring Liverpool a Champions League. And that is going to be difficult considering he just won the league title with United. And as Rio joins the club, he is the highest rated right winger in the side. If you think Rio will win the Ballon d'Or one day, subscribe. However, it is it's Euros time and Ngumoha finally was selected. Let's see how England did. And it's good news so far as England topped the group. And they beat Poland in the quarterfinals, and in the semis they lost to the Netherlands. And Ngumoha did play every single game but only got 1 goal and 2 assists. Maybe at the World Cup he has a better tournament. But just take a look at Rio's stats now back at Liverpool. These were his former stats. Can you believe that? But anyways, this season we're gonna go ahead and give him the white playmaker role as he could win the Champions League and maybe his Ballon d'Or this season. And what a season from Rio. 32 goals, 8 assists now at a 91 overall. But he does win his first Prem with Liverpool. But he fails to win the FA Cup and fails to win the Carabao. Come on, I expect him to win like 2 trophies. And he failed to reach the UCL final as they got knocked out in the quarters. But now with 183 goals and 12 trophies, he's only gonna get better. And kicking off season number 9, it is a World Cup year, but we're still focused on winning the Champions League with Liverpool. Let's maximize his finishing. And Rio has another great season, 28 goals, 8 assists, now at a 93 overall. And once again, he wins a Premier League title and he wins the Community Shield. But Southampton win the FA Cup and Wolves win the Carabao Cup. Ain't no big team winning these trophies right now. But Liverpool also win the Club World Cup, and Rio has a chance to win his first Champions League and completing the 4th challenge. But the question is, can Ngumoha win his first Champions League and could secure a Ballon d'Or as well? It's a 5-0 victory. He wins his first Champions League while completing his challenge. Also, it seems like a Liverpool player has won the Ballon d'Or. And it is Rio Ngumoha. He has won the Ballon d'Or. He is the world's best player. But of course, is he going to be rewarded or punished for winning the UCL with Liverpool? And it's either add 5 trophies to your trophy target or win 1 more Ballon d'Or. Now, boys, this is a tough decision because with 6 seasons left to go, Rio currently has 16 trophies and still needs to win 14 more. So I think adding 5 trophies is too risky, so we're gonna go ahead and have to win another Ballon d'Or. I just hope he can do it in the next 6 seasons. As the 5th and final challenge for Rio is to win the World Cup. And in season number 10, of course, Rio went to the World Cup and finished top of the group. However, in the round of 16, they got knocked out by Poland on penalties. As Ngumoha got 2 goals and 1 assist. That's pretty good. But hopefully one day he wins the World Cup as it's one of his goals. But you know what? The World Cup is 4 years away. Let's focus on winning more trophies and Ballon d'Ors for Rio. As this season, we're gonna go ahead and go for the winger role. And it's another brilliant season. 38 goals, 14 assists now at a 94 overall. And for a 3rd year straight, Liverpool have won the Prem. And they also win the Community Shield. And a 3rd trophy is won with the FA Cup. But they lost to Leeds in the Carabao. But they win the International Cup as well as the UEFA Super Cup. That's 5 trophies. But he has the opportunity to win his 6th with the Champions League. I'm sure if he wins this game, either him or Mbappe will be the Ballon d'Or winner as Virch is suspended, and it's going to be a 3-2 win. As Rio scores a hat-trick, surely that's the 2nd Ballon d'Or. But somehow Mbappe has won the Ballon d'Or. I know he scored more goals, but Rio scored a hat-trick, man. But regardless, Ngumoha has 22 trophies, 250 goals. Still missing the World Cup and that Ballon d'Or. And in season number 11, look at the team around Ngumoha. He's definitely helped them grow a lot. But this year is a Euros year, so hopefully he can show a little preview of the World Cup by winning the Euros. But of course, he still has 8 trophies to win, so let's focus on the club season as well, as we're going for the white playmaker role. And Ngumoha has his best ever season, 68 goals, which means he has 319 goals, completing that challenge. 23 assists now at a 95 overall. Surely that's a Ballon d'Or victory. But Liverpool once again win the Premier League and they win the Community Shield as well. And that's the FA Cup. That's 25 trophies. Make that 26 with the Carabao, 27 with the International Cup, and 28 with the Club World Cup, man. 29 with the UEFA Super Cup. That is crazy. And if he wins the Champions League here, he can win his 30th trophy. And all he has to do is win the World Cup. Can he secure his 30th trophy completing that challenge as well? It's a 2-1 loss. I cannot believe he fumbled that. And sadly, Ngumoha does not win the Ballon d'Or as Vinny wins it. And this time in the Euros, England topped the group, and England this time around have gotten to the final. But can Rio do it? Can he win his 30th trophy and for a preview of the World Cup in 2 years' time? And it's a 2-0 victory. He wins his 30th trophy. Let's go to the World Cup. And we have arrived to the World Cup as England have topped the group. And in the round of 16, Spain, they beat Ireland. In the quarters, they beat Italy. And in the semis, they beat France. As in the World Cup final, they're facing Ukraine. As Ngumoha has only contributed to 2 goals. But he still needs this World Cup and he still needs that Ballon d'Or win. Would this World Cup help him out? 2 suspensions for England. And it's a 2-1 victory. As he wins the World Cup and he wins his second Ballon d'Or. If you guys enjoyed this video, click on the screen and watch me replay the entire career of Rodrigo.